Just delete F. Yes, just instantaneously deleting that VOD so I don't get DDoSed. Because that page had way more information than it should have. And I was just wasting away, Jesus, 20 minutes before I've even done anything. Alright. Delete that. Did you dox yourself? F. I don't think I have. Especially if I've just decided to be like, alright, let me just stop the stream, start it again, delete the past VOD, so now there's no evidence of me fucking up that royally. Because here I was being like, oh, it's, Shift A, there we go. So we got environment texture. So that's doing that. And then there's a sky texture? Huh. Yeah, this one doesn't have my name or anything like that, which is nice. Assets, HDRI, and let's just go for... Yep, cool. So that's there. Alrighty. Now you look prepared because you're going straight into Blender. Excellent. And then song request, pin that. What's more is, like, I was meant to be starting it around this time anyway, so... It's, oh, goddammit. Pin. Manually unpin at the end of the thingamadiggy. Hi for yourself. Ow. Hi there, Phantom. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? What the fuck am I making? What am I making? I have no clue. I have, like, my head is empty on this one. Because I very much do not want to go into that any of those Blender tutorials. Because one, like, I feel like it would be a little bit, like, sort of cheaty in using an entirely person's, like, other, like, video content and such like that to fuel my, like, stream and such. And then number two, I don't know if those tutorials are actually going to be worthwhile watching. Especially, like, on stream if I want to, like, try and make things. Like, hang on. Ow. Ow. Thank you for the 99 bits. I greatly appreciate it. You know, I don't know. We'll think of something. Actually, nope. Extruding on the Z-axis. There we go. And then... Kiaru gets first. Congratulations. And then... Shift D. And then... .1, negative 0.1. And then... This may seem weird, but I'm looking to make, like, some crowning. Because I feel like if I tried doing this, like, Control B, and then doing it like that, it wouldn't work out too well. No, I don't want to do it this way. I want to... Control L. There. Actually, no. We'll keep it out like that. So then that way it keeps that going. And then we want to extrude across the manifold. And it only goes -0.1. So then that way it goes like that. Oh, that actually works too. All right. So then, ooh, maybe. And then bevel. We might be onto something, chat. And then because of that bevel, we can then do a custom profile.
Savage with the 16-month Prime sub. 16-month hype.
Hype, indeed. Alrighty, I got an idea. So oh, god damn you. Alright, we're gonna go with that kind of crowning. Looks like shit, but we're just gonna go with that. There we go. Crowning. You will barely notice it, but it was something that was irking me in my previous, like, room renders and such, is that I would just have, like, these thingamajiggies. Oh, you did a subscription! I didn't see that! Hi there, Savage! Hype, 16 months, thank you so much!
The _phantom_master 117
I did not see that, I'm so sorry.
paid me to
Do you
say
like
I just
cheese?
thought of a funny idea for a commission. Imagine
Yes.
a Ock and a few friends Ock dress as Squid
I
Games
have,
commission.
like, I'm not joking. I have, like, a render, like, let me find which one of my stream elements. There is a cheers redeem that you can do where it will just be raining cheese for everyone. I should know this because, like, a long time ago I was asking people on Twitch, what is a number that you associate with cheese, and no one could give me, like, a really good answer, or at least one that I appreciate. Give me a second to find. All right, full screen alerts. Let me find the cheese. You eat babies? No. Who says I ate babies? Squid Games. Oh, Squid Game. All right, hang on a second. So, purple alerts, settings. Give me a second. There is a bit you can do for cheese. 420 bits. Grant Vor Circles confirmed. I don't Vor Circles. What is going on in the chat that I'm now, like, so lost? I remember when I had nipples. Yes, many people may remember I had giant fucking nipples, and then I got embarrassed, and then I turned them off, and now they're nerfed to, like, these tiny things, which is a little more appropriate. Hi there, Chase. Welcome to the stream. All right, so we got Chase, we got Rippa, we got Kiaru again, we got Phantom, Savage is here. Thank you once again, Savage, for the 16 months. And then Nano Gamer's there. But yeah, no, so I have a number of channel thingamadiggies, and so at 1 bit, it's just the hello there. At 16 bits is, like, the JPEG for the hot dog. 47 bits is for sword versus gun. 50 bits is for the melon buffet. 69 bits is for horny jail, which also hyper himbos me. 96 or at least 96 bits gives me cope. 100 bits is Homer. 120 bits is me leaving my skeleton basically. And then 250 is baby needs money. 360 is spin. 420 is cheese. 555 is these. 1,000 bits is when you do the Japanese cowboy thingy-madooks. And then 1,780 bits is for building a barn. Because it's just got the old man that's like, oh, you don't build a barn, dumbass. What do you think this is, 1785? Wait, this song right here? I am... What is this song? Is this the song I'm meant to be listening to? Dr. Kahlua, ow. That's a cool button. The cute button. I'm, however, not cute. I am incapable of being cute, as you can no doubt see. What is this song? This is so weird. Anywhoosies, back to me making an isometric room because I had like no other things in my brain. All right, let me just call this room. Neat. You're the one with the cute button? Yeah, but I'm not cute, so you're... Ah, damn it, cute. There, we killed me in the thingamajig. All right, okay, I need to get my... Hang on. Asset browser. Assets, here we go. Okay, this can get shrunk down. It doesn't need to be that big. Armchair. Really? Is that how big the... I could really shrink down the room. Because, like, next time, I need a zebra for, like, scale. Because I did not properly think through... Alright, and then G, and then Z. Alright, I'm feeling like this is 1 meter. So this would be 2. So we're gonna go, like, 2.5. There, yeah, there we go. God damn, this is a very big room. I need to shrink this, hang on. There we go. All right. So now if I... There we go. All right, so then... There we go. So now if I just render this image real quick. Hi there, Onyx. Welcome to the stream. I have no idea what I want to make. This is not a couch that I have made, by the by. Yeah, there we go. Crowning. This crowning is so fucking important, all right? I cannot stress enough the importance of a crown. Because... All right, you know what I should have done? I should have Control-Shift, Control-Shift, Control-F. Separate selection. And then... Yeah, okay, so... room dot crowning. I need to stress this like a lot. So, ding. so as you can see, because everyone has this in their home, like you have like this little thing, it's like a skirt board or something like that, I think it's called, for the floor, but it's also sometimes on your ceiling as well. And the idea is that it's sort of there to help protect because it's made of wood instead of like plaster or whatever, like the walls are. And like one of the many reasons could be because so you don't like, bump it with your vacuum and make holes and shit. And also it just feels like it should be in place, because this is what it looks like when it's there. And then this is what it looks like when it's not there. It looks a bit odd, doesn't it? What game have you finished you haven't modeled something for yet? Oh, good question. Let's see. I've got the Kingdom Hearts thingy-majiggy. I got the Cactar. I've got the lightsaber. The lightsaber was actually something I made before I started doing Jedi Survivor. So that's actually a model I made like before doing the game. And so yeah, you're right. I probably should do something that's like actually game related. But the question is like, what else have I played? No, don't pull the lever, Onyx. Last thing you saw was a Keyblade. The Keyblade did take a little bit of time. What is something that would work out well? Something from Baldur's Gate or Final Fantasy 16? Baldur's Gate is...
Thank you, Phantom, for reminding Grant to save his work.
File, save as... I'm just gonna save it here, and I'm just gonna date this. Because, like, I don't have, like, a purpose for this particular thing. If I feel like something is asset-worthy here, then I'll probably move it into, like, a different blend file and all that kind of nonsense. All right, let's have a think. So, because, like, Boulder... Oh! You know what? Should I? I was thinking, like, maybe the Zweihander. Or, hang on. Just this sword right here, real lo-fi it. Man, imagine if Avalon was watching this. So yeah, I could go with a sword, like, because it's not the same as a Keyblade, to be real with you. And as you can see here, everyone has, like, different interpretations of how they want to, like, do the typical sword. I have played Elden Ring. This could... Honestly, any sword, like, any standard sword, I feel like would be able to just be like, yep, I'm gonna... Like, I just hit this for, like, a majority of different games or what have you. Because, like, the games that are, like, super simple, sword would probably be the best option. Anything that was super complex from Elden Ring, however, I have no way of doing this. You have a secret so shocking that I might explode. Be advised that I have banned people for surprises or for shocking me. But go on, Onyx. You only have, like, your status here in the stream to worry about. It's you, Otto. What? Who? Have I banned you or something? Hold on. Now I need to figure... Who's Otto? Oh! Masonic. What are you doing in, like, an entirely different... Like, you keep making different... Is this, like, a different... Like... Did you, like, rename yourself from, like, the Masonic side, so then that way you're back to your original? Or is this, like, an entirely new character? Or is this the rename of Otto? Like, I have to now change your... Hang on a sec. Masonic. There we go. Yep. I gave so many different things. New character. You gotta stop doing that. Someday I'm gonna, like, not be able to, like, keep up with all these different names. I'm just gonna use your newest one and just be like, yep, cool. All right, we're gonna go with. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Broad cane knight thingy bastard. Oh, it was one of the great swords. Okay. Hi there, Code. I don't know yet. Ripper recommended doing something from like a game I played or a game that I finished in the past, and I'm gonna go like really effing simple and just go with like a basic sword from Elden Ring, the bastard sword.
Bowmaster Dog thinks you
If it
should
could
do 20 squats.
at least be massive, which unfortunately it isn't, which is annoying. All right, where is? Because there's the Gothic, there's the best. I could get away with like getting only the hilt. Like maybe that will do it.
Why not make something for our Baldur's Gate 3 game?
Because that takes because like I don't have that kind of a brain power to remember to do those things. Open link in new tab. There we go. Why is there no PNG stuff? Fuck it. I'll eyeball this shit. Hang on a second. I'll just eyeball this nonsense. Ding ding. 0. Oop. I'm just gonna eyeball this shit, okay? Cube. Alrighty. Cube needs to be just a meter. 0.5. Okay, so it just needs to be like about that tall. I need to now do my squats, however. We're gonna eyeball a sword. Can someone give a shout out to Code the Yoshi? I'm gonna be playing Baldur's Gate with them on Friday. And you might want to... Alright, hang on. Here we go. Also, start recommending songs. Otherwise, we're gonna be back in my what's-a-mahoozy, back in my casual playlist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Thank you for the 20 squats. Alrighty, let's get into this. Alright, so. Let me swap over to this, just so then that way I've got my... Alright, edit. Scale. So then that way it's like just a pillar.
My day
Be so fine. Then boom. Horny.
Did you see it?
Yep, I saw you do the oh. That's not what I
Did
wanted.
you see it?
Do not make it see-through. Scale. Shift Z. So then that way it's just like... And then what I'll do is I'll grab this. And then... we poke the face. Grab the thingy-majiggy. And then... there we go. What am I listening to? I'm listening to something from Godzilla. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, so that's our blade. I can now join these areas.
Hey Grant, you coming to the happening?
The happening, the what's-a-mahoozies, the thingamabobbies, the the time at the thing at the time at the place with the person at the event? No, I don't know what that is. I feel like I'm gonna get hit with a bee's nuts thingy-majiggy. Blade. Assign. Alrighty. Hello, Bookie. Welcome to the stream. I'm making a sword. Alrighty then. A, and then we're gonna make it Cookie for Bookie. Because I want to do like a thingy. I want to make like a cross.
You not coming to the happening then?
I don't know what the happening is. You're gonna need to explain to me these things. I'm not as smart as you are. I have no glasses, okay? You're the four eyes. You know more things than I do. You have twice as many eyes, which means you have twice as many like intelligence points. That's how
happening.
That's how it works, isn't it? Not a cylinder. Actually, no, maybe it is. Oh, Jesus. Okay, maybe not that kind of a cylinder. Let's shrink you down. There we go. And then shorten you so you're only like... You know what I need? I need a ruler. I need, like, a tape measure. So then that way, like, the next time I'm just staring at my screen that's like, huh, I wonder how big this X thing is. Like, if I need to measure something, I can just whip out this tape measure and be like, ah, yes, of course. It needs to be a minimum of this long or this round. I need to find a tape measure. CPU, Garuk, no idea what that is, card sleeves, a pen, some pencils, a prayer beads, receipt, commander cards.
Pull the lever, Crunk.
Code, what did I do with my tape measure? Is this an AI song? Is this an AI song? SpongeBob sings Super Idol extended version with English and Chinese subtitles. That sounds like some AI music. Skip that shit. Kiaru, what are you doing to me? We're going to go on a quick 2-minute break because I am going to look for a tape measure and I am going to find us a song that is not just Kiaru fucking memeing me. Ding, and then donk. Cool, thank goodness. Phantom saves the day. Thank you, Phantom, for saving the day by having a legitimate song. Oh, these things don't open. There's a lid. Oh, it smells funky in this thing. Alright, so there's a belt. Some dice. Oh, damn it! I could have sent you this 3D... you can't... Why am I presenting this to the webcam as if Code can somehow see this thing? You can't. Chat. Did not expect notices your beat. Alright, chat, listen to this. It's a tape measure. Alright. So, if I have... Like, I feel like a crossguard should have about... Let's see, so... I feel like 7 inches, like, across is, like, enough of... Alright, so that is 18 to 20 centimeters. Okay, we're gonna split the difference. We're gonna go for a little bit under, because that's, like, let's see, so that's 0.7. The depth is going to be 0.15. So that's 15 centimeters, and then we're gonna lower the poly thingy, so it's gonna be like, yep, 6 I think is gonna be good. And then we, oh no, radius is like the first point, so it's point 0.01, I want to say. So yeah, because if it's 0.0, then
making?
it's, what am I making? I'm making a bastard sword. Actually, let's go 0.3. There we go. So now, alrighty, that should be okay. And then we raise this up just a little bit, 1 meter, and then, nope. Yonk. 90. And then hey, look at that. Look at that. Alrighty. That looks good. Ugh. Dun, 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 dun. Alrighty. That looks appropriate. Alrighty, and then you're back. Your internet went out. Oh no! I hope. Is everything else okay though? Nano, is everything else okay? All right, factor. Nope. Ooh. Oh. Oh, that's. Ooh. Ooh, I like this. I like doing that. Okay. All right. So now I need to edge slice this so it goes like here, and then edge slice this so it goes here. G and Z, move this up a little bit. So now, everything else is fine. That's good. Bestest boy, I am on a fucking roll right now. Like, actually, am I on a roll? Yes, I think I'm on a roll of some sort. Unless... hang on, I need to... Never mind, we're not eyeballing it. I need to look at an image of a bastard sword. Hang on a second. Oh no, it goes flat. Okay. It goes flat. All right, so what I should do then is... All right, so we got that there. So then that way we can do... Actually, no, not that. Is there a way for me to split? No, I don't want to triangulate. Bridge? No, that's not what I want to do. You know what? I'm just going to do that. So then that way I can then go... where's the dissolve? Dissolve edge. There we go. Ooh, actually, no. I should keep that. I should keep that. So then that way I can go Control B. So then that way I can bevel it. Oh, I'm a genius. Oh, I have an idea. All right, and then not have so many thingies. And then it's just going to be superfluous. And then Thank you for the hyper himbo, Ripper. I'm onto something. I'm onto something. No, I'm not onto something. And then shrink across the y-axis. There we go. So now... SY again. Nope, that's not what I'm thinking of doing. Oh, it's because it's on individual rather than bounding box. So that one was able to do the thingy-majiggy I wanted. So then if I... Hey, there we go. So now there's like a little... So now the point is like... Ooh, hang on. Mirroring on the X and edge sliding it. There we go. So now it's a little more serious of a point. And then so yeah, it's like just a little bit. Let me just hide this for a sec. Cause actually no, I don't need to hide it. What I need to do is make it less of a... And then expand it just a little bit. There we go. How do I edge slide it? Oh, wait, no, hang on, I know how. And then I just go, nope. Why won't you mirror? Weird. Mesh. There we go. Symmetrize. So now... Tape measure time. So the point of a bastard sword is that it's about hand and a half. So the idea is that like you can hold it with two hands if you want, but it's also still operable with just the one hand. The second hand is normally there as like if you want to do like extra like sort of power, I suppose. All right, so if my hand is like 4.5 inches, like the thingy-majiggy, then, which is about 12 centimeters, which means I want another... Okay, so I want it to be about 6 to 7... Again, 6 to 7 inches, like, long. Why is so much of the sword, like, just approximately, like, oh, like, things around the hand need to be only, like, 6 to 7 inches, like... Can Avalon explain this to me? Like, hang on. Move this up. All right, so this thing is going to go up about 12 centimeters. So 0.12. There we go. So there's our quote unquote. And I can, nah, that's messy.
Hello.
Hello, Blackwing. Welcome to the stream. Maybe Avalon can explain something for me. Can you explain why so much of swords are like 6 to 7 inches for length of things like handle and cross guard? I'm making a sword in Blender. They were last seen 6 hours ago. They're probably not awake right now. Alrighty, here's what's gonna happen. So ding, 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 ding. Bevel this. Ooh, no, it didn't like that. Oh, maybe. I'm gonna put this here. Oop. I'm gonna put that there, so then that way, as I bevel this... no, that doesn't do what I want to do. Do I just get another cylinder? Is that the trick? Hang on. So, ding, dong. Add a new thingy-madiggy. This is cross guard. Assign it. Shift, not Shift Z. I don't need to make this see-through. Shift A. Another cylinder. And we're gonna raise you up by about like, alright. Let's not make it 0.17. Let's just make it 12. There we go. No, not 0.01. Actually, 0.006? 0.005? No, that feels too... Alright, let's just go with that then. Ding, donk, shrink it. Plus handle, assign. Oh, that didn't. Oh, okay. Wait, why didn't that shift D? There we go. Oh. Oh, wait, hang on. Mesh, select, snap. Where's my snapping tool? Snap cursor to selected. There we go. So now if I do Control A, I can then go, I can go torus, reduce the number of segments to just 12. 8. Phantom just making some noises. What's happening over here? I am making a sword. All right, so dunk, and then I'm making specifically a bastard sword. .001. There we go. All right, so there we go. And then .005. No. 0.00. Actually, let's keep it 0.005. 0.005. So yeah, because there we go. Because that's what we want to do. Is we're making a phantom what? I don't know. All right, weird sound is weird. Alrighty, so that's a fun little. So this is like a fun little ring. 0.006. Yep, I reckon that's gonna be fairly alright. And then what happened to all my vertex groups? Hang on. All my vertex groups are gone. What happened to the... Oh my god. Save my work before I forget. Add ring sign, add handle sign, cross guard plus blade sign. Do I feel like, did I just like end up in like an alternate reality or something where I just wasn't applying vertexes? Or was I applying them like somewhere completely... No, it should have been... Weird. It wouldn't be because I symmetrized it, would it? No, it wouldn't have. Alrighty, Phantom Master. Alright, clean up, recursive, unused thingamadiggies, there we go. So new, this one's just gonna be ring, and we're gonna make this like a silvery thing. Select. There we go. So weird. All right. Assign to the ring, and then handle is getting a new material. This is just so then that way I can like figure out. There we go. I'll just make this same as ring. I'm just going to call this metal. And then new polished blade. Assign to that. There we go. Simple and clean. Hmm. 130 faces, not that many. That's a lot of butts, Master. That is a lot of butts, Phantom. Alrighty, I need to now create a pommel. Let's go with an icosphere. Is this a D20? Hang on, 1, 2, 3. No, we're not gonna go with that. All right. It's not gonna be a UV sphere. Let's actually let's go for a cylinder. There we go. And then we'll make it 7.015. That way it's an dun, 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 dun. Gotta go. Have a good night. Not to worry, Phantom. Thank you for dropping in and dropping some of your songs in. I greatly appreciate it. Dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Nice and subtle. Actually, no, this would be 0.33. And then metal. There we go. Now, how tragically does it change when I decide to do a subsurface modifier? It gets real simplified, doesn't it? Like, look at this thing. It's just like, boop. Well, it looks... I will be real with you. The blade looks kind of cool, but I can see it's not perfect. It's not the way I would have liked it. Welcome back, Ripper. I have made a sword. Now I just need to... sword.
Thank you Ripper 253 for reminding Grant to save his work.
Save. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to... Alright. Because... Okay, so the origin point is at the middle of the sword. Should I make it so that the origin point is actually instead at, like, say, like... You know what? I probably should. I should probably make it so that it is at the, actually at the handle. So... Like, right there. That way it's, like, sort of, like, at the... where the ring is and such. That way it's like, if I decide to be like, let me just quickly snap the sword to, like, say, my hand or something like that, instead of it being like, oh, the middle of the sword slaps the hand and I have to do, like, all this extra, like, pulling it and rotating and such like that to get it to, like, you know, follow the hand and such, make the origin, like, instead, like, at the, where the handle is, so then that way any rotations are instead at the handle, like you would with a sword. You do a middle origin and a root bone in the handle. Unreal 3 stuff, so ignore me. Fair enough. It's a valid thing. I've not done like a lot of Unreal stuff, so I wasn't like, I haven't worked in it before, or so it's like that kind of thing isn't like aware to me. So, but I'll remember that for like next time, especially with like any weird nonsense. So yeah, because the reason why I think that is just because of things like this face project thing, where it's like you can go like, ooh, look at this. Ooh, a sword. So now if I like go, but yeah, here's the thing. It's like I can now go like, woo, look at this. Sing, shing, wang, fam, boom, beam, boom. Like it's now rotating at like the actual like thing. It's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Vorpal blade is just like, foom, foom, foom. Unreal snaps stuff by bones. You hated it. Ah, okay. So if I... Okay, so the origin point doesn't matter. It's where the bone is on things like this, right? Noted. All right. You know what? Yeah, actually, I'll just leave it like that. And then... Lol, it, like, almost sits perfectly on that wall. That's actually kind of funny. Nice. Hi there, Sir Dragon. Welcome to the stream. You're absolute screaming with some swole muscles. Excellent. How's it going? I made a sword. It took me an hour to do that. Just get that squared away. None of these references I used. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. Yeah, I basically made what these guys made, like, without as crazy of a detail, like, no biggie. Dun, 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 dun. What's Mega doing? What? Mega's playing a Halo? What the fuck? What's Kofu doing? Oh, Claymore. No, it's not a Claymore. It's a bastard sword.
Of course.
Oh, they're already at the point where they have more... Oh, they must have done the, what's-a-mahoozy ahead of, like, earlier.
Oh, seeds. How do I plant new seeds?
Lol. And they're at it. This is a pipe. And then Dazarus is just playing with all the fun ladies. Alrighty, move you over there. I need to have a think about what else to make. Also, I need to do, like, an actual rent at some point. Actually, you know what I need to do? I need to... Alright, we're not rendering this thingamadiggy. Where is this stipulated? And then... set snap cursor to world origin. And then throw you over there for a quick minute. I need to create like a really quick, like, just staging thingy-majiggy for Dink 2 meters, there we go. And then control B. Dunk, there we go. Light point. There we go. Just so then that way I can, like, see where the hell this light is pointing and such. Alrighty, and then... make it very fine point. .5. 60. So it's going to be really strong. And then area. Two meters. Why was it called a bastard sword? Hand in a... Yeah, no, this is what I was talking about earlier. The whole hand and a half thing. So it was like, you know, just a mix. And it was not a two-handed... So yeah, in Elden Ring, they classify it as a great sword because of the whole, like, you know, being able to two-hand it and such. And they don't... Because they do this weird thing where straight swords are like their one-handedness. And then great swords are like, oh, you can two-hand it. But yeah, like, you're absolutely right. I didn't know I had, like, another, you know, swords, fanatic in this chat. All right, hang on a sec. Nope. There we go. So you had aim that there. There we go. And then we're gonna go 30. It's gonna be 2 meters. All right, what does this look like? All right, let's go for a different FDR. Let's go for Studio Light is going to be very bright. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad actually. All right, there we go. So easy, lovely. Render image. Dunk render. There we go. No, that's too strong. So back down to 60 for you. 15 for you. Just doing all these renders, trying to just get it, like, just to point it in an entirely different direction. There we go. So now if it gets rendered, there. Actually, what happens if it gets rendered in cycles instead of EV? Ooh, it's taking quite a number of samples. Oh, some things are breaking. Oh, no, we're good. Oh, we're back. We're on to our secondary playlist. There's no more song requests. Wow, it only took us an hour to get to here. Damn. Oh, it's using the CPU. That's why. God damn it. Hang on. That's why I was having such a fun time trying to compute that and just absolutely hating it, is because it was using the CPU to do all this. And then this is the... Alrighty. Hi there, Neko. Welcome to the stream. Hands. That's... Once again, the... Hands will not want to work if the CPU goes up, way too high. Alright, so last thing... We got, another 40 seconds to do 4,000. Alright, cool. We need...
Thank you Blackwing 40k for reminding Grant to save his work.
Thank you for saving my work. Control S. Alrighty, we're gonna go for a spotlight. And it's gonna go behind, actually. And we're gonna have it as a particular color. It's gonna be a very muted... There we go. To the town of Oliver, a stranger one fine day. Ooh. Didn't have too much to say. No one dared to do his business. No one dared to make a slip. The stranger among them had a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. morning and we rolled into the town. Blender on the M1 is insane how quickly they can do CPU renders. The M1 is, well, the thing is that the Mac is always been, like, whenever people question, like, why we have the Macintosh laptop when Windows does very much the same sort of things, like 90% to 80% of the time, the reason for it is because the Macintosh in the modern age is not about being, like, the convenient home PC like Windows is right now. It's because the Macintosh is creative first. Like they like Photoshop, like the very first versions of Photoshop were Macintosh exclusive. They weren't multi-platform. They used to be only on the Macintosh. And so that's been Apple's like main sort of seller for modern like Macs, rather than, you know, just being, oh, I'm getting a new Mac because I'm a Mac fan. It's like, most cases, Macs are the utilized system for developers or artists, just because of like a number of the programs, and that it's just always been like this very creative, motivated sort of game, creator motivated sort of piece of equipment. Could model something on that as a sub goal for something. Wait. A 3D program for the 7 megahertz Amiga. What is an Amiga? Mac keyboards are good. Oh, are you talking about like when they were the butterfly clips, or are you talking like the modern Mac keyboards? Just be careful of that. You know what? That lighting surprisingly works. So I've got this area light here, which is really low, but is just meant to like sort of fill the thingy-majiggy in. This one is doing the most, but it's like at a very narrow field. And then this here is like the weakest of them, but the whole point behind it is just so then that way it gives a little bit. Actually, let's go 15. That's doing 60. This is a 15 as well, though. Let's go 20. Alrighty. The big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Sorry. Ooh. There are Windows and DOS PCs, Macs, and then Amiga is a distant third. I have never heard of the Amiga. That sounds made up, quite frankly. They were mostly video editing stuff back in the 90s. Ah, okay. But yeah, I'm glad that you're saying fuck the butterflies, because I think everyone did not like the butterfly clips. I'm still using, like, I've had this keyboard... Oh my gosh, this keyboard must be like the longest living thing I have in like my Ship of Odysseus-esque, no, not Odysseus, Ship of Theseus, my Ship of Theseus-esque PC. I have been swapping bits and pieces as I've been going along. I could not tell you what any of the original pieces are to my very first, because this is all based off of my second PC. This is based off of my second PC. I've just been throwing bits and pieces as time goes on. I probably could have sold the second one to make an entirely brand new third one, but I've not done that with this PC. And this keyboard has probably been with me for like probably close to a decade now. This Razer, like this is a keyboard that was like, it's probably very expensive now for what it was worth, for what it was like back when I first purchased it, but I didn't know about like the Ducky keyboards and other kinds of brands. I went with this Razer like Black Widow. This is like a V1 or V2. It is so like there's probably like stuff like caked in underneath the keys. Is like, because I haven't like properly done cleaning the indicators for num lock and cap lock. You can barely see because for some reason they don't have them as like, the material over those like lights is the same plastic across everywhere else except the keycaps. Where the keycaps have like some very obvious places to shine through, that does not exist for the Black Widow. They're just like, oh, the light will be strong enough to like go through, and it's like, yeah, you have a Model M that you paid so much for, you can relate. Yeah, I do have the pieces if I want to make my own keyboard. Like, I've slowly been collecting the pieces. Like, I've got the keycaps, I've got the switches, and I got like these really fun, colorful pastel sort of keys, but I don't yet have like the hot swap board or the case to put it all together. I've not yet made that purchase because any of like the diverse color ranges, they're expecting you to have like this, 10 keyless, or 60% or 50% keyboard size. And dang it. Yeah, sorry for your cures. Fun fact, you ready to get like absolutely decimated on this furry cures? You missed out on like being the first streamer. Where's my fingers? Twice. You've missed out on being the first streamer tonight, or the first viewer in my stream twice tonight. The reason being is because in the first 20 minutes, I accidentally revealed some information that might have doxed me. So I stopped the stream, started it up again, and deleted the previous VOD. Doesn't matter because I started the stream at like 5:30 instead of my normal 6 o'clock. I had no idea what I wanted to make, and I finally like settled on making this sword. Save as Blender renders. There we go. Ignore the fact that you could see my nipples in one of those. Sword. 1. Save. You're joking. Not this time. You missed out on it twice. The first person that the first one was Bone Mask Dog. On the second one, it was Kiaru. So you've missed out so many times. Alrighty. Alrighty. I want to do more to this. Hang on. So this is the handle. No, I want to keep it really subtle because it's a very lo-fi sort of thing. And then this is the... We're doing just a slight off blue. You still really want to work on building a custom keyboard at some point? Same here. Hi there, Gooey Arts. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're doing all right. Welcome. I'm Gooey. You stream, don't you? Yes, I am making a sword. Ignore the fact that it's like 1080p quality and you'll barely notice like this thingy-madiggy. It took like, this is just me like sort of fiddling and nonsense and such because I can't do sculpting. Trying to get back into it. Fair enough. And we're back to our lo-fi music. All right, I think I'm done fucking around with the sword. I think I'm done fucking around with it because save. Actually, hang on. Save copy. And we're gonna call this. Do I have a weapons one already? Twitch props weapon. I do have a weapons one. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Okay, so yeah, so this one is saved. Open asset library weapons, and then I need to file append. And then, oh wait, no, this is the asset library, so it's not going to be here. And I need the Where are you? Where are you? Sword. There we go. So there's our sword. And asset library. So, we're not working on the lightsaber. There we go. Oh, actually, maybe wonk. -90. I should really try and keep like consistent ass like orientations and such. All right, so object, apply, rotation. There we go. And then bastard sword. And we're gonna mark this as an asset. So then that way it appears in the thingy-majiggy here. I don't know how to make it. I don't know how people do the thingy-majiggy where it like becomes like a proper, like what's-mahoozy the thing with all the actual colors and shit. But one day I'll figure that nonsense out. Back when I... Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. Alright, hang on. Ding, dong. Why does the chair and the fucking... Why? Why does the chair and the door come in? That's not what's supposed to be happening. It should just be the door. Oh my gosh. All right. Doesn't matter. File, external, cleanup, recursive. Yep. Purge the one material because it's not necessary. All right. So we got our sword. Back over to our streaming thing. So this is like our thingy-majiggy we've got right now. And the reason we have it in this fashion is so then that way, we have this environment where it's really low light, by the by, because if I had this at 1, the light would be blaring. This world, this is at a 0.2 strength. If I have it at 1, this is what the sword would look like in the render. It's fucking blinding. Like, you cannot see any shadows. It is fucked. Like, it is just really super bright, which is like, maybe someone likes it like this, but I just wanted something with like a nice, consistent, like, background color. I didn't want it like I didn't want it bright, which is why it's only at like 0.2. So then that way I can actually use... Actually, what happens if I leave it at 0 and then render the image? What does it look like? Oh. It's not too bad. All right, I'll leave it at 0.1. That should be enough that it gives me a little bit of the background environment texture light, but it still gives me, like, you know, control over it. Alrighty, room and crowning we're gonna get rid of. Ding dong. Can I group these? Empty cube. Point 1. Honestly, that was very mighty convenient that it all like went to there. All right. Ding. Actually, no, not so. Area, plane, point, and spot. Shift. They parent to the empty, which is going to be our photo shoot. That way, when I move this thing, it moves all the elements. And if I want to rotate this, it moves all that as well. Is the music on? Yeah, the music is on. You can recommend songs. There should be like a message that says it. So it's just, you know, we still got like another 10 or 20 seconds of this secondary playlist before we move on to recommended songs. Chat, if there are songs you think that would be conducive to me trying to, you know, be creative and such, add it into the playlist. Furry Cures adds a whole ton of songs. Night Sky does like an absolute fucking banger for me. And then Kiaru is just a fucking memester throwing me Simlish and shit. You want to make an impression? Start throwing me some songs. Just so long as there isn't like, you know, heavy amounts of profanity, because like one of them had like a really great beat to it, but unfortunately would have like the N word like thrown in sometimes, and I was just sort of like, ooh, I'm not 100% comfortable. It's like when you listen to the song WAP, like it has like a really good drum line and everything, and then the lyrics come on and you're like, I know exactly what these lyrics are. I don't 100% support them, but god damn, this music slaps. Alrighty. Donk. Donk. What am I making next? What am I making next? What am I making next? A long time ago, I made a sofa. I could make a better sofa. I need help. Nah, I shouldn't ask in other people's Twitch. They're busy. They are busy. Fuck. What do I want? This is the problem, chat. We're an hour and a half into this stream. I don't know what I want. I don't know if I want to make anything new. I most certainly don't want to like start trying to do sculpting. That would be fucking incredibly insane. Is this it? Make a plushie of some viewers in here. That requires sculpting. Furry cures. That requires sculpting. I can't make plushies. Like, that's insane. I can't make plushies. Oh my. Oh god, that makes me very self-conscious. I don't know how to make plushies. How the. Ah! God damn it, brain.
Furry Cures 1221 thinks you should do 20 squats.
I made the sword. I don't know what I want to do next. Part of me wants to play video games. Part of me is like, maybe I can just go to sleep early, but I know that's going to be a lie. Brain. God damn it. Yeah, I don't feel creative. This is a problem. How did my creative juices just disappear after an hour? Go ahead, let's game. All right, let me get my 20 squats in. Ugh. Here we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Isn't Final Fantasy XIV normally going into like service mode on Wednesdays? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Thank you for the 20 squats. Thank you for the 20 squats. I want to make a stool. I want to make a chair. Let's do it. Let's make a chair. Mesh. Submit. The fuck did it go? Oh my gosh, damn it. It's not liking me when I'm doing that. All right. Hide the plane. Here we go. Subdivide. We're only subdividing once. So then that way we can insert the face. Nope, not like that. There we go. 0.02. There we go. I see how that one's. All right. Not sure people want to see you go to the. A chair, fine, not a stool, a chair. I just realized like how. All right, here we go. So X, Y, and Z. So Shift Z. Setting it like here. And then extrude on the Z. Oh. Extrude on the Z. How tall is this? 10 centimeters? All right, 10 centimeters should hopefully be okay. There we go. I love how it's like, oh, do you want to put a line there? No, we're going to put a line here. Going to put a line here. Oh, weird. Doesn't... Oh, hang on. And then edge slice it. Okay. Oh, hang on. Ding, and then dong. What? Interesting. You can just like absolutely rip it. It's long enough. So it took someone long enough to recognize a Fifth Element song. Never watched Fifth Element, sorry. 0.3. Yeah, let's... You duplicate polygons, delete them? What's wrong with duplicate? Also, I just realized I'm gonna need a zebra for scale. Hang on. Asset library. I need a zebra for scale. All right, that is actually... That's not too crazy of a height. Alrighty. Edit. So. There we go. Alrighty. I'd say at about the knee would be a good height. Like maybe here. Yeah, about there. And then don't let the chair break. It's not gonna break. It's gonna be made of highly like reputable. All right, and then R. So we're gonna have it like up here. And then there we go. What am I listening to? Ooh, hang on. That's not good. You can thankfully start... I can just start reversing that. Alrighty, and then... I should know this song? No, I don't know this
Save.
song.
Grant. Save.
Thank you for the save reminder. Thank you for the save, Amanda.
Pull the lever, Crunk.
Damn you. Actually, yeah, let's just do it for the insides. Like so. So, and then ding, dong. No, it shouldn't be inside there. It should... Actually, no. It should be on the insides for this bottom half. But then on the top, it's going to be here. I'm really glad that my zebra didn't have like a penis or anything like that showing. Yep, alright. Oh, that looks creepy. Look at this. What happens if it goes to 2? Nah. Alright, get rid of that. Shade auto smooth. Yeah, let's go with an auto smooth. Wood, and then fabric. Yeah, alright. Give me a sec. Gradient. Is it Musgrave? No, it isn't. Noise, magic, image, gradient, checker. It's not wave. There we go. And then... mix RGB. Ding, and then dong. And then color ramp. What was it to toggle a what's the shortcut to add like a dot there? No, it's not that. What is it? Select, find. It's not. How do I make it so that it's Make link? No, that's not it. What was it? Moobot is cheating? What do you mean Moobot is cheating? It played your Nightingale Eyes, didn't it? Alrighty, there we go. Alright, value, scale, and scale. $50. Oh, I need to unwrap this. Hang on a second. Smart UV project. There we go. There we go. What a depressing... For intro fighters. Oh, okay. Um... Musgrave, that's what I want. Daylight. And then we apply a color ramp where we're gonna make this one. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, no, hang on. I need to. Ow! What was that for? Oh, I know this song. I only ever heard it in Japanese. It's at the end of the BBB or whatever the thingy-majiggy is called. Like he's just like on a stage and like different characters and like the big guy's just like. And then you have the guy with the fire that's just like, yeah. So great. Dun, 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 dun. It is a banger. I respect that. There we go.
Save. Grant. Save.
Alrighty. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Save my work. Mootbot will just have whatever the fuck he wants some days. Dun, dun, dun. No, I don't think I think I want the wood to stay on the little thingamadiggies, actually. Hang on. So, oop. I thought it would have been... Alright, hang on. Dink, donk. Ding. 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 And then this one here. Assign it to the wood. So yeah, the train of thought I was having is that the seat is the cushion, like, so this is the cushion, and then the backing could also be like a bit of a cushion as well, because, you know, people like rest their back on it and such. Did I overcomplicate it? I feel like I might have overcomplicated it. Yeah, I think I might have overcomplicated it. Oh, no. All right, hang on a second. There is a benefit to having like backups, so then that way you can do stuff like this. That way I can just go and select all this all over again. There we go. The problem is I want to do something with the wood, so it's like not just, you know, a random like thingy-madiggy. All right. File, save as, save. There we go. So I've written over that. Like, I want to do something like to make this wood without it. Why am I looking at an abandoned? I want to do something to the wood so it's not just, you know, boring wood. Make it firm? That doesn't make sense.
The underscore Neko underscore Dante 33 paid me to say BAN SSSS.
Beans. That's what I wanted. Distortion. Oh. Mark as a seam. And then
The underscore Neko underscore Dante 33 paid me to say BAN.
Mark as a seam. The reason I'm doing this is because I realized something. The waves are gonna all go the same sort of, oh, hang on. That's dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so which orientation? All right, so we need to have... Now, you may be wondering why I'm doing this. It's so then that way, the wood grains that we've got all go in the same, like, sort of quote-unquote direction for, like, as if it was a piece of wood. And I'm wanting this piece of wood up here to be going in a different direction. Save. So now you'll already notice we have, like, this little, like, randomness here going off. And there we go. We now have fun, interesting wood grain that is not going in the same direction as everything else. There we go. So now we got something darker. So then that way, when I go and swap this... Aha! Ho! 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 Everyone now for... Did you say... No, I didn't. Oh, I need to fix the legs now. Hang on a second. Alright, hang on a sec. I need to fix this. Yippee-yi-yo. Yippee-yi-yo. Who let the dogs out? Ho! 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 Dogs out! Ho! 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 Okay, where is...
Furrycures
there it is.
1221 thinks you should do 20 squats.
All right, give me a second. Oh, hope. Why? Why is this? There we go. All right, so. There we go. All right. UV unwrap. There we go. Alrighty. Save. Render image. Let's do 20 squats. You need at least 5 bits to do the TTS? Or is it 10? I think it's 10 bits for the TTS. One, 2, 3, 4.
Go suck a lemon.
5. You go suck a lemon. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Go suck a
19,
lemon.
20. Thank you for the 20 squats. Thank you for the 20 squats. Let's see how this goes. It's not looking, it doesn't look too bad. Cookie for the Blackwing. Save as
The underscore Neko underscore Dante
Chair.
33 paid me to say there's an incoming fax for you.
Oh, a fax. I need it. Let's have a look. This is a long
Here it
fax.
is. Wait, it's blank.
God damn it! Why is the fax blank? I need to do a I need to get like one of the cooler
Zeebs is a cutie.
I'm not a cutie. Stop telling people that. I need to use like a different sort of I need to get like a different bot for the TTS, so then that way I can use like the parsity tags. Because as much as I love StreamerBot and SpeakerBot, I'm a little bit annoyed that it's taking this long for them to do, like, I just want it. 2 things I want from their Twitch bot or from their speaker bot is number 1, allowing the piping of parsity tags or the SSL tags, which a lot of the cloud-based text-to-speech engines support. So that's the things like forcing a series of text to like be at a certain pitch or to push a break, all those kinds of things. So it's like how you get those like voice lines where it's like, oh, look, a fax. I didn't know we have a fax. And then doing its thing. SpeakerBot has not yet done that. The second thing is making it so that if I want to have like an icon pop up for when the speaker bot does something, I want to make it that little icon stays up until speaker bot is done. I'm kind of doing a bit of a backwards means of doing this with StreamerBot by making StreamerBot interpret like, oh, how many characters is in the text? This many characters? All right, times it by like however many milliseconds, and there's my value of seconds to wait. So it sends the TTS command out, and then the streamer bot waits, like not for the TTS bot to be done, but for the amount of milliseconds it calculated. And it's a very rough estimate. It's like 100 milliseconds per character, which, you know, doesn't. I feel like it's not like absolutely correct. So yeah. Dun, dun. Hello! Hi there, Hendrix. Welcome to the stream. Alrighty, so that's our chair out of the way. It's not that great of a chair, but it's my chair, and I accept it. I can't think of, like... My god, work... The 7 a.m. start for work is so weird in my brain. Like, I'm not having to wake up earlier if I'm working from home, which is great. But for some reason, the whole, like, starting at 7 a.m., finishing at 2 p.m., no, finishing at 3 p.m. thing is, like, for some reason, my brain just wants to sort of go to sleep so much earlier. But the problem is that the autistic me is like, nah, it's 8 p.m. or it's 9 p.m. Like, I'm bored. We got to do something. And then I'm just, like, sitting in bed, like, looking at TikTok sometimes. But it's like, I'm just tired. I don't want to do anything. Like, Why is the brain like this? Yeah? I have at least one person. You can always flip a coin.
How do you think I feel after doing night shift?
Oh, I don't know how you do it, Code. Code, I don't know how you do the night shift. It is absolutely fucking insanities. I don't know how anyone does night shifts without, like, you know, completely redoing their life. It's all wizardry to me. What's going on with... Oh, no, it's fine. Just absolute fucking magic. Coffee? I don't want to take coffee right now though. Like, coffee doesn't do that much for me. But like, it's still, like, food and drink will still do something because it's giving you a little bit of
fireball.
Wizard time! Fireball! Like, food and drink still do something, but it doesn't do, like, as dramatic as an effect as I think it would. Every time. Like, I always think, like, oh, soda will wake me up. It doesn't. If I'm getting sleepy and I drink the soda, I just get in, like, a terrible grouchy where it's like I still want to go to sleep or something like that, but then my brain, like, has a little bit of the synapses going off. And I just end up in this blum. I just start nodding back and forth, and instead of getting, like, a proper night's sleep, I just get, like, a nap. Which isn't as great. So. Yeah. You know what? Hang on. Actually, so file. Yes, I did save this file. Open asset library. I'm fairly sure I have like a furniture asset. Twitch objects. Sure, let's go with Twitch objects. All right. It's gonna have a very fun time there. I would do this couch a lot differently now. File. Append. Objects. I think it's cube that I want. There we go. Oh my god. Why is the chair so... Did I not actually do it to scale? Oh my god. Did I not actually do the couch to scale? I mean, I either didn't make the couch or the chair to scale. All right, easy fix. From the cursor. There we go. There we go. 2.5. There we go. Actually, fuck it. Let's go 3. chair. Chair. Save, right click, mark as asset, and then we go and open, yep, save Twitch objects. Now we gotta go open the other place. Which is it? There we go, streaming room renders. Please don't have a penis. No, we're good now. Cool. So there's the Keyblade. Assets. Alrighty.
Thank you Blackwing 40k for reminding Grant to save his work.
Save. Oh my god, like... Look at the difference. Like, is that even my... Like, does that even work with my hand? Hang on. Where the fuck? Oh, there's the Zeebs. What is he doing there? Hang on a second. Oh my gosh. What the fuck is he doing? So that's meta rig. This is rig. Pose, select all, clear all. Object. All right, let's have a look. I might have, like, you know, maybe a bastard sword that's accurate for like most like peeps, but yeah, it's not accurate for the Zeebs. I'm gonna need to adjust that sword, like, just to be a little bit bigger. Give me a sec. To about, my god, I have to like make it like yay long. Look at the ridiculousness of like 2. I have to make it like probably 3 times as long or something like that. It's just a finger's length. Yeah. Here's the, hang on. And then 0. So yeah, because it should only really be like... Like, a bastard sword should not be, like, you know, the length of me, like, 2 times over or something like that. Like, it should be shorter than that. The good news is I've probably, yep, appended this instead. So what I can do is mesh snap cursor to selected, and then from the 3D cursor scale to about yay big.
Why not leave it leaning in the shelf?
No. I'm just because I need to adjust the. Actually, hang on. I still need a dink and then object 1. There we go. That's a little bit better. Because the idea is that you can do it like two-handed if you want it to. And then when all is said and done, it should only be... Yeah, it's just a bit longer than the arm, which is okay. It looks more sensible for the scale of the zebra is the point. That's the idea, is that it's more to the scale of the zebra. And then 90. So now OBS just decides to not OBS, Blender decides to crash. I'm gonna leave it to there because this is a better time to end rather than trying to like just fuck around for one single render for the next half hour and such. Plus, it makes for a very funny raid message if we just have the crying emote, Blender crashed. So, if you are subscribed, if you are subscribed, you can use those emotes. Otherwise, you can just type in Blender crashed, and we are gonna go raid into.
Furry Cures 1221 paid me to say go suck a lemon.
You go suck a lemon. Let's go for... Do we want to go for Mega? No. Mega's too big, I feel, at this point. Let's see. Ooh. All right. I have not raided to them in a long time. But we're gonna go raid into nubs. They got boobs. Very, very easy reason as to why I want to go raid into them, quite frankly. Alrighty. I will be online Friday. Friday night is going to be Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to be streaming that, my first time session with it, and I'm going to be with Code the Yoshi. Code and I are going to be going through the Baldur's Gate 3 campaign together. It's going to be fun. If other people want to join in, we'll probably figure something out for like the next session involved. But otherwise, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. Code, thank you for joining in. Thank you everyone who came along, and I'll see you all hopefully Friday. Bye for now.